Then we have it here, class. Okay, movements, head movements, hand movements, gestures. They're also called as gestures. Okay, even especially the eye movements. Okay, when somebody is going to ask a question or a favor, okay, and we seem uncertain of our response, so we just have to, okay, move our eyes, okay, and the movement of our eyes, even also the absence or the presence of the eye contact, the way you look at the person can already be sending a message, okay? But of course, class, it requires really keen observation, okay? How about in our workplace? Now, this is very important. When we deal with our colleagues, when we deal with our clients or our patients, okay, we have to pay attention, okay, especially with the eye movements, especially, of course, with facial expressions, because they tell more than what the mouth, okay, can express. Body contact, the shaking of hands. When a person is nervous, you don't have to ask the person, are you nervous? But there's already the shaking. And we know that that person does not actually have physiological concern, and yet the person is shaking. So we can actually say that if this person is really nervous or is afraid of something. So that is something that we also have to look into, no? As the circumstances requires. There's also something here that I really found it okay, important. No? The closeness, the physical proximity. For example, class, when there is somebody that you need to speak with and you go near that person and that person deliberately, okay, tries to keep distance from you, there's a meaning behind that, right? When supposedly you go near to that person and then there seems to be a deliberate attempt or a deliberate really act of attempt, an act of the person to somehow move a little. So that is actually to put a distance. There is a meaning behind that, right? So that is what we call as looking into the meaning, even when we talk about proximity. The distance between one person to another, there is a meaning. If you are close friends, meaning to say somehow you already have established close relationships, you can go near to the person. But if you try to establish a relationship that is impersonal, meaning to say just really business-like, so meaning to say we have to set a distance between us. That is still part of non-verbal communication. Okay, so that's it. Also of your sounds. Okay, well, of course, not about the sounds class. Could be laughing, also maybe, no? So when we laugh class, oftentimes it signifies happiness, but there can also be laughter that is ironic, meaning to say, trying to hide what is really the real, okay, feeling of the person. Because, sometimes people are very good at manipulating our non-verbal communication. Although this requires skills, this requires deliberate effort. Okay, so somehow not to fake our non-verbal response. Okay, but of course not everyone okay has the skills to do that. Okay, for example, you are extremely disappointed at somebody, but then you don't want to make that person feel the disappointment that you actually have toward that person, because you do not want to also to sever your ties, okay, strain your ties with the person. So even if you don't feel good, no, with that person, because or maybe not that person fails to meet your expectation, and that is why you feel disappointed, but you would like to withhold that feeling just within you, so you don't show it. Okay, so not at all times, class, that the non-verbal cues will really tell what you really have in mind, what you really feel. Okay, although there are, okay, yes, because it can actually be also subject, no, okay, to the determination, subject to the determination, the scale of the person to be in control, okay, of the non-verbal cues to be expressed. Okay, so that's it. Well, I think now you also have learned, no, from the article that I assigned you. Okay, so as I've said, there are still those who have not, okay, turned in, and please do. Okay, class. Okay, so let us proceed. Okay, so do you agree with this? May I ask? Mr. Dan Briel Samosa, do you agree with this?
I believe so, Doc. I believe
Okay.
in that because when communicating with other persons, most of the usually when you are receiving information, you get to express it even without talking. Once they're talking to you, you get to express your understanding or whether you believe them or not by showing your facial expression, your appearance, your movement, eyes. You're looking away at different things. While when you just talk, when it's just verbal, it's just gonna be like you're just talking and not moving. But 100% of it, ma'am, is because when you talk, usually you get to do gestures. Your tone of voice changes to depending on the topic that you're talking about, or whether you are interested on that certain topic that you are both when the topic that you are both talking about.
Okay. Yes, definitely, no? So when we are going to express something, we use words, but these words are actually just confined, okay, from our mouth. Okay, of course, there is actually, well, when we try to communicate, last it's the brain that dictates, okay, as to the what words to use. Okay, and well, our speech mechanism is a means for expressing the thoughts, the ideas that we have in mind. But of course, we cannot isolate, okay, the prevailing nonverbal cues. Even in fact, even when we call, no, for audio communication, we just call. We don't see the person. Okay, two people who are actually in telephone call will, okay, just voice, okay, huh? Voice call, no video involved. So there is just the use of the auditory means of communicating, no? So for example, using telephones or using your cell phones, okay, whether landline or cellular phone. So communication is just through audio, no, means. Okay, so even if there is no, okay, physical presence between communicators, but even there is still the non-verbal element, okay, and that is the tone of voice. You may not see the facial expression of the person, you may not see the eye contact, okay, as to what really is the response of the other person in the other line, but pay attention to the tone of voice. Is the person angry, okay, at you? Is the person concerned? Is the person sympathetic? Is the person happy? That is actually expressed with the tone of voice. Okay? Even if there is no, okay, physical presence involved. How much more plus when the communicators are facing, okay, one another. Whether, okay, physical, there's the physical presence, really face to face, or even also the virtual presence, which this is what we do nowadays. Okay, so we try to limit plus, okay, the physical presence, okay, gathering together in one place, because of course, no, we have to follow, okay, the advices given to us, okay, with the government. So as much as possible, we limit actual, okay, interactions with other people, so as really to avoid, okay, if not limit really our chances, no, of really, with this pandemic, especially with this new variant that is very contagious. So we try to avoid that. Okay, but of course we continue with communication with other people, in which, for example, in, shall we say, audio conferencing or video call. Okay, the only difference is that that person you are communicating with is not there physically. You cannot touch the person, but you can see the person. You can see what the person is doing, the facial expression of the person, even also the eye movement. You can really see, okay, all these elements, no, of nonverbal communication. And there you can actually evaluate if the person you are communicating with, okay, really is, shall we say, truthful, or if that person means what he or she says, okay, not by what the words, okay, are given or are expressed, but also by the non-verbal cues. Okay, so I actually give emphasis to this because except for intrapersonal communication class, okay, these non-verbal cues really play a very significant role for effective communication. Okay, so most of the time we relate with people, whether in actual presence or well, okay, whether in use of digital platforms. And that is why, class, we have to really be conscious, no, of the non-verbal cues.